2010. With that being said, I'm going to be declaring for the 2026 NBA draft.
Declaring for the draft. Congratulations. I know your friends, your family are here as well.
Billy ahead to A-Cup, layup good. Arkansas leads it by 1 and a foul. And a foul. A-Cup's going to the line with 7:42 to go. A-Cup right wing, they set a screen and he drains a three. A-Cup right side nearly lost it, has to fire away from the sideline and it goes. He was about to lose the ball out of bounds. He saved it by firing it at the rim. It's a three-pointer. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. A-Cup going to go to work on Tanner. Three from the top of the key is good.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, produced by Colton Little with Ty Richardson. This is The Morning Rush.
All right, does that accurately inform Arkansas, Dave, about Darius Acup's intentions?
I think our bases are covered there.
Yeah, I like how composed he was in front of Malik Andrews yesterday. I would not have has been for everything he accomplished in his freshman season to sit in front of one of the most beautiful women at ESPN and be as matter of fact,
stoic
as we've seen him. You know, it's funny, his facial expressions changed throughout the year. He was initially like just a freshman, a wide-eyed kid, and all of a sudden you could just see the maturation. And listen, I don't know if he likes media sessions or not, but he had to do a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And I think at a certain point they grow tiresome. But just what a year. What a year. Darius Acuff announced yesterday on ESPN he's heading to the National Basketball Association. No, he's not coming back to school. There's no chance of him. He technically is maintaining his college eligibility, but he's not coming back. SEC Player of the Year, SEC Freshman of the Year, SEC Tournament MVP, Bob Cousy, best point guard in college basketball, most points through 3 games in the NCAA tournament by a freshman ever. And, oh, yeah, he's got those injury red Reebok shoes as well.
Energy, not injury red.
What did I say? Energy red.
Energy. We're gonna. I don't want to put that out there to the ether.
Red.
Energy.
4 roster spots open for Arkansas basketball now. That depends on what Malik Thomas does, but an awesome, awesome season for Darius that we can talk about throughout the next 2 hours. We're brought to you this morning on the Morning Rush by the Inn at the Mill. Perfect place in Northwest Arkansas to stay. I know they're in Columbia, Missouri this weekend, but you still got home series remaining against Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Well, the Inn at the Mill is a perfect place where you could stay off the Johnson exit, off I-49, and it's awesome. We stay up there every time we go to Northwest Arkansas. Maybe it's a concert at the Amp you're going to here these next few weeks, next few months, or it's Arkansas baseball, football season. It's going to be here before we know it. Maybe it's the spring game this weekend, business travel, staycation, you name it, they can host you. 479-443-1800 or visit inatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present. So let's do the cliche. What was your favorite Darius Acuff moment? I ended up watching 20 or so minutes of highlights of him this morning. I think my favorite had to have been the SEC tournament, when Arkansas had only won once prior to him and his teammates getting it done in Nashville this past month. And the shot he hit on Tyler Tanner, one of the best point guards in the SEC to end the half, also the falling away three where he got fouled, no call. He was so good in that game. You could point to High Point, him going 11 of 22. You could point to a lot of different games. But that moment, I thought right there, man, this game's slipping away from Arkansas. I don't know. And then he cans 2 threes and then gets the intentional foul, drains a 3 within like a minute or so coming out of the second half. Just was the ultimate ball player. But that moment right there, I was like, you just can't guard this kid one-on-one at the closing of halves or games.
I think mine comes in that loss to Alabama where he dropped the 50 bomb, and it seemed like there was nothing that anybody could do in that entire arena to stop Darius Acuff. Like it did come in a very unfortunate loss for the Razorbacks. That was one of those games that you would have loved to have grabbed a W against the Crimson Tide. But just seeing him execute at such a high level and be able to look like the NBA point guard, the NBA type caliber player that he had been touted to be all season long to that point, just to see that come to fruition was exciting for me to watch as a Razorback basketball fan. That's a moment that stands out for me because you just don't see guys score 50 points a lot in college, or really, in the NBA, it doesn't happen every night either. So it was really exciting to watch that and see what Darius Acuff was able to do with the basketball in his hands. And yes, it did come in a loss, but it kind of just showed that this is what you were going to get for the entirety of his his 1-year career here at Arkansas was this was a guy that was made to, born to, and is going to score.
And what we compared him to at points throughout the season is Anthony Black, not necessarily in skill set, but just the toughness factor, playing through injury, which he did multiple times. Cal was open about that. Muss was open about that with AB. Ryan texted in saying he was a warrior, not just in that game, but throughout the season, especially when, 3 hours away in Lawrence, Kansas, you got a kid that's not even trying to go 20 minutes. He's taking himself out of games. 2026 has been weird, and really it's been the last couple of years. There's so many changes to college sports, so many things we're not used to that we are now having to deal with as fans or deal with as media members or kids, agents, coaches. Every little detail is scrutinized in some way, shape, or form. But I would think if I am an NBA GM and I've watched this kid and I'm a coach and I've watched this kid battle through and just want to play game in, game out. Ticked off he didn't get to play in the final regular season game, which, by the way, Arkansas won against Missouri. That, to me, is so appealing if I'm one of those guys making those decisions. I know there's DeBanza. I know there's Peterson, Boozer, Wilson, Wagler. There's some really, really good freshmen in this draft. Burries is another one we saw firsthand in San Jose for Arizona. Nate Ament didn't have a great game against Arkansas, but he's a really appealing guy. Kingston Fleming's for Houston. But this kid, man, I just don't know how he I don't know how he gets out of the top 5, but maybe we can have that conversation a little later on. All right, let me set up the show today. So Marty Burlesworth's going to join us in just a bit. Really excited to catch up with him. Burlesworth camps are around the corner. I know people, Matt Jones has been a counselor, Anthony Lucas, Clint Sterner. They always seem to have some really, really cool ex-Razorbacks, and also like just the fact he can rub shoulders with Herm Edwards, Kurt Warner. We can ask Marty about that. Todd Golden, his future with Florida, touched on that. Dave Van Horn had a few things to say that we didn't get to after Tuesday night's win that we can play in talking about the Missouri Tigers. The All-In Road Show has been announced with head coach Ryan Silverfield.
Yep.
Let's see. Softball team wins. Tim Cramsey, offense coordinator, spoke with the media. Tom Murphy's going to join us. And
NFL drafts.
NFL draft tonight. We can talk about that. So I'm excited because I think we have I think
we're hoping
we have a good show.
Hoping.
All right,
Right.
before we get to Marty, got to tell you about our friends at Sterling Bank. When it comes to banking, you deserve a pleasant and productive experience, one that puts you first. Listen, I love, Batter Up with Bubba is great. That segment is awesome, and they bring it to you on halftime every single week. They have top-notch customer service. Every transaction feels personal because they're here in Northwest Arkansas. Local, friendly banking that fits your needs. Visit Sterling Bank in Fayetteville, Rogers, or in Bentonville. Learn more at stirbank.bank. Sterling Bank, invested in you, committed to Northwest Arkansas.
Burlesworth, you guys just talked about. The Superman look there, 77. The previous touchdown, when they came off the field, the offensive coaches were saying, hey, big step, we're coming after you, play after play after play. And that's what they did to me, 1, 2, 3, into the end zone. This guy is dominating offensively.
It's some really good coaching. You're going to get coaching from guys that, obviously played at a high college level, and then many of them that played, the next level up. And so some will be position specific. We'll have some drills that are just basic things, like how to hold on to the football, scoop and score, that type of thing. But campers, we want them to leave that day knowing more than football, knowing that they learned a lot of football, and it's really going to help them. But also some really great life lessons, and that's equally, if not more important than what they learn on the football field.
It's time for the opening drive.
So we all went to camps as a kid. Some were for different activities. I do remember going to a few football camps. I did not have the fortune of going to the Brandon Burlesworth football camp, and we get a chance to talk with Marty each and every year. Marty's got a lot of titles. Chairman, CEO, and founder of the Brandon Burlesworth Foundation. And Marty, appreciate you joining us, man. I know you're really excited. These are going to be here in about a month, aren't they?
Yeah, coming up soon, Ty. Coming up soon. We've got 3 camps now. For years we just had the 2, one in Harrison and one in Little Rock, and now we have one also in Farmington. And those dates are May 28th in Farmington, May 29th in Harrison, and then we'll be at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock on May 30th, 26th year of the Brandon Burlesworth football camps.
Yeah, Coach Tice, he still got it, doesn't he? I know you saw
Oh,
firsthand for a number of years. And I know, like, Tommy, I remember talking to Tommy about this. I was like, does he not get tired of coaching? And Tommy, like, before the season, he goes, they're going to be good. And sure enough, they were, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's in his blood. It's what he loves. You know, he loves working with kids, and you know, molding young men, and that's also why he's so great with our football camps. And you know, he's been in it as long as the camps have been going. So he's our camp coordinator and sets the schedule for everything that happens down there on the field. So yeah, we're excited for another year, and Coach Scott just does a fantastic job. Can't say enough. There's no words to describe how what he means to all of us.
And he's a part of the selection committee for the Brandon Burlesworth Trophy. I mean, you got an all-star panel. I mean, I see Kurt Warner, I see Herm Edwards. What's it like to just talk football with some of those guys each and every year as you guys give up to give out that trophy every time?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just wild, you know, to think you'd ever, having discussions with people like this, about football, and I mean, and they're passionate about it, and getting that, pick right, getting the winner, our ultimate winner, and also, we go from 70, 80, 90 plus nominees every year down to 10 finalists, and then we've got to make it down to 3, and then an ultimate winner. And sometimes it takes several rounds of voting. It's all independent voting, but I communicate with all of them, and they are pure passionate about it, and are really it means a lot to them. Lisa Salters is also a member of the selection committee. That's the broadcaster for Monday Night Football. And she does a fantastic. All of them do. I mean, everyone. These are all hand-selected people that we've invited, and they accepted to be on the committee, and they understand. They understand what these young men have been through to be able to play at the highest level, beginning as a walk-on, and that's not easy.
Marty, not only do you have an outstanding cast there, but the counselors I alluded to. I know Matt's done it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got counseling these kids coming up here in about a month or so?
Well, we don't have it all set in stone yet, but we'll have our regulars. One of my heroes from years past, Ron Calcagney, works our camps, and has for years. And then Anthony Lucas, of course, Jody Davenport, Chad Abernathy, Grant Garrett, most all of these guys other than Ron were, Brandon played with. And I don't want to try to mention everybody because I'll leave somebody out, but I'll just say everyone that works at camp, former Razorbacks, current Razorbacks, and I don't have that list just yet set in stone either, so I don't want to throw out any names there, but just know that we're going to have past stars, former or current stars, former stars, but the main thing is every one of them, last one, cares about the kids and does a great job working from the 7-year-olds up to the 15-year-olds, and that's our age group, boys and girls, and we just got some just first-class people out there coaching these camps.
Marty, got a text from Roger here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. He said you were on his ragball team last year, and you're a great guy and still playing. You got to tell me, what is ragball? Is that like T-ball? Is that softball? What is ragball?
Well, yeah, it's kind of sounds like it should be. Ragball is basically softball, but it's with a more of a spongy ball, but it's same size as a softball. I'd like to say I could hit it. I could still hit it like I did 20 years ago. Nope, I cannot, but I'm still trying. But it's just like regular softball, but it's on a smaller field. I tell you, we play with some people and against some people that can really, really hit the ball.
They can rake. They can rake a little bit.
They can do it. There's some good players out there, and sometimes I wonder why am I even out here? What a business to have to be out here. But yeah, It's fun. I'll say that. It's fun.
Okay. Marty Burlesworth with us, Chairman, CEO, and founder of the Brandon Burlesworth Foundation. Marty, I kind of got sidestepped for a sec. Back to the camp. So you mentioned an additional camp at Farmington this year. The Farmington one is on the 28th. The Harrison one's on the 29th. And these are all May dates, by the way. And then the Little Rock one is on the 30th. You've got a lot of parents listening right now. These, by the way, ages 7, 15, boys and girls. Is the best way to just go to BrandonBurlesworth.org? Is that the best way to learn more about these camps?
Yeah, that is, and it's right there on our homepage. You won't be able to miss it. There'll be a football icon, I think, spinning there at the top of the homepage. Click on that, and that'll take you straight to the registration. I believe registration, I think it's $55, I believe. Not my department, but I believe that is right. And camps run from 8:30 to 12:30, so they're just a half-day camp. I would encourage those listening, if you think you are interested in doing these camps. I mean, we have many campers that they started at age 7. They've attended everyone, till they aged out. So we've got campers that be back every year. We've got campers that will and their families that will travel great distances for this half-day camp. That just is a tribute to Coach Tice and to all our former and current Razorback players that work with these campers. But we've had, I think last year, West Virginia, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, way down in Florida, and Indiana, for a half-day camp. So to travel that kind of distance for a half-day camp says something about the job that Coach Tice and all these Razorback players are doing with these kids.
Marty, I wonder if you could give us your perspective, your brother being the greatest walk-on ever to step foot on Arkansas and one of the best that's ever done in college football overall. There's a lot of changes that have happened, not just in college football, but elsewhere. And the concept of a walk-on is degrading is not the word. It's going away of sorts. And I wonder just the importance that you think it still maintains in college sports in 2026.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Todd, because that is a great question. And I have, with the Burlesworth Trophy over the last couple of years, I've done a lot of interviews from, I don't remember, CBS, ESPN, some others that, because of, the changes that are taking place and the walk, where it ultimately settles out, no one knows. Things may go back to the way they were. I doubt it, but walk-ons are so important. That type of player is so important because they're there because they want to be. They're not there because they got anything. They're not there because they got paid. They're there for the passion of the game, and that's, that spreads throughout a team. So, if you lose that altogether, and hopefully we will not, but if you lose the passion from those players, when a high-level recruit sees a guy that is just giving it his all just for the love of the game and for the love of the school, that just spreads throughout a team. And I just hope we don't lose that. And we've got some talked with yesterday with a couple of our Burlesworth Trophy finalists from this last year, talked with Michael Taft and Fabechi, Wee-Woo, Oklahoma and Texas players because the draft's coming up. And they're entering the draft this year. I'll be talking to Bryce Betcher, Oregon player, today. I just like to touch base with these guys every year before the draft. We tell them, once you're a Burlesworth Trophy finalist, you're in the family, and you're in it forever. And so we stay in constant contact with all our guys over the years. And these are all guys that the game and their school mean a lot to, just like being a Razorback for Brandon. That was the ultimate. You don't want that, passion for your dream school to go away. So hopefully we'll see how things, work out over a period of time, but hopefully we'll at least be able to retain part of that.
Marty, again, we're a month plus out from the camps. Harrison, Farmington, Little Rock. I know you're really excited. One more time, Brandon BurlsworthBurlsworth.org. It's BrandonBurlsworth.org. Marty, I appreciate you hopping on with us this morning. I know you got a lot going on with, as you mentioned, the draft and everything else. So good memories, and appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely, Ty. And hey, go Razorback baseball. I'm going to be at all 3 games in Columbia, Missouri, so I'm looking forward to big things there.
Let's go. Give them havoc, okay?
Well, we will do it. Thanks, Ty.
You got it, brother. It's Marty Burlsworth, Chairman, CEO, and founder of the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation. We will talk some baseball coming up. DVH had, so we didn't get to this yesterday. We're pretty loaded up on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. DVH had some things to say about this team being on the road, which we've kind of said, but when you hear it from the head coach of your baseball team, it's kind of like, okay, maybe
It's different.
Yeah, it hits different. That's a great way to look at it. Tommy gives me a hard time for traveling a lot. He travels a lot too. I just drive. He flies. I got to make sure that I have a vehicle that gets me from point A to point B. And luckily at Wrath Auto Resources at the Meineke Car Care Center, it is the perfect spot when it comes to getting the vehicle serviced. And they got service special. David was talking about them earlier this week. Again, Wrath Auto, like tire deals, specials, and you just want to be able to get from, again, point A to point B. And you want a comprehensive, okay, this is what this is going to look. Hey, you might need to get this serviced at this point, and you actually want to know what's going on. Well, they do a fantastic job of that. I mean, Philip's been there, I think, 20-something years in Fort Smith. There's a reason. Larry's a good guy to work for. Even his own son decided to work for him. Wrath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Wrath Mitsubishi in Springdale, Meineke Car Care Center at both locations. When we return, Hog Update, going to get into DVH and the All In Road Show next.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Fans, this is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback, the only local family and Arkansas alumni Razorback store in the state.
And the Stadium Shop is the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
You know, it seems there's always a Razorback sporting event happening.
And if you need something new for your home, office, or just want to update your wardrobe, the Stadium Shop has new stuff arriving all the time.
And we don't have to ask someone from corporate office to get something that Hog fans want. We are the corporate office.
Hey, Matt, did you hear about the tree out in front of the store?
No, what about it?
I heard it's a bit shady.
Wow, you've got to leave these jokes alone.
Anyway, you can see the shady tree and all the hog stuff at 989 South Razorback Road here in Fayetteville.
But not everyone can get to Fayetteville, so we've got one of those www.
Dad, again, it's called a website, and it's shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Or they can call us at 479 Stadium. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
How many games do you start in the SEC?
0.
Okay. Once you start 12, you can loosen it slightly. Sound good?
This is the Morning Rush.
Save some green this spring at Wrath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground, priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Wrath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to road-ready certified and save some green this spring at Wrath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. WrathAutoFortSmith.com.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Jelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Enclaves at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. That's $4,000 off and 4.9% financing for up to 84 months on this luxurious third-row SUV. Or drive the brand-new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited-time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, or online at harryrobinson.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Gage Wood, no hits him. Allen has a wide open man. It's Childs. He's loose. He scores. Childs, please.
Uncle Tommy loves the Razorbacks.
ARKNSAS.
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush.
Go Hog.
You know what? They've done a good job. They've done a good job, KJ, AJ. You know, it's a fiery competition, but they're working together, which is good. They're competing against each other, but they understand that it's for the good of the team. Neither one perfect, but there's been improvement every single day.
You came in to the office, or maybe I overheard you. What did you say yesterday?
Sounds like they don't have a quarterback.
Well,
that's just my impression.
Here was my thought when
it's
I
early.
listened
That
to
could change.
because I didn't listen to it live yesterday. I listened to it all this morning, and I think where my head is at initially in the quarterback battle here at Arkansas with A.J. Hill and KJ Jackson, with no spring portal, you want the starter to be defined by the end of spring.
No, that's true.
You don't want to wait till fall, because you know what this brings me back to? And I hope, and I'm not trying to will this to anything, but you know what this brings me back to? It brings me back to Nick Starkel and Ben Hicks when they didn't know. That's like, and I was like, okay, if the spring portal was here, maybe you don't want any one of them to think that, hey, it's still battle. It's still, because you want them to stay on campus. There's no spring portal.
Yeah.
So you want to know. And so this back and forth that we had in 2019 with Starkle and Hicks when it was just a disaster both seasons. We knew that. That's where my mind went. I hope it's not like that, but that's just where my mind went because what have we said multiple times? Yeah. The first real QB competition we've had since Ben Starkle.
Yeah.
And Nick, I said it wrong. Well, since Ben Hicks and Nick Starkle.
Forgettable names, forgettable players. Just I hope that if either one of those guys, KJ and AJ, have a Justin Bieber shirt, go ahead and just burn that preemptively now so we don't have to, have that dirty laundry literally aired out in public. Spring ball is for finding out who's going to start. It's for finding out who your players are. And occasionally times you do have to figure out who your quarterback is. I think one of the things they missed on in the portal this year was going to get a real proven Division I starter somewhere. But, the other side of that is that could have cost you a lot of money. And last year we saw what happens when you spend all your money on the offense and none on the defense. So I think that, as a whole, they have a really good system in place over there. At least that's what I'm hoping in terms of their scouting and, who the money is allocated towards. But look, coach speak, which is exactly what a lot of these guys do since they are coaches, is always hard to decipher. But occasionally, when they give you the runaround like that and they truly don't know and they have to give you at least a 30-second long answer to appease the media like us, it kind of gets a little bit. So I don't know what they're going to have. I'd love it for it to be KJ Jackson and for all the things that we've heard about him that are positive to be proven right. But just based off of what I've seen from the 15-minute practice footage that they post every now and then, and hopefully from what I get to see in spring game, they could have somebody at quarterback. But if they don't, they're going to have to rely on running a whole lot.
On the subject of the spring game, you do have a responsibility. I've had a chance to sit with Randy Rainwater for the past 5 years at football games. Don't screw that up. I like sitting next to Randy. Love that guy.
I've talked to Randy before at one of the games that I went to. He
was
as nice as could be.
Don't be a point. Randy's he tells Kyle, he tells someone at the athletics department, hey, I don't know if I could sit next to one of those kids.
Well, I won't bother.
There's a responsibility. No, you don't. Just talk with him. Just don't screw it up.
See if I can bum a cigarette off.
Little pressure. Singley and Danville. If you have two QBs, you don't have one.
That's
KJ
true.
I tend to think KJ will start. I know AJ knows the system, but I just think KJ Jackson's ultimately going to start. All-in roadshow to announce yesterday. 4 stops: Fayetteville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, and Frisco, Texas. At the Star. Fayetteville's at Ozark Music Hall. Little Rock's at the Rail Yard. Jonesboro's at the Lounge at Huntington Square. And then the Star at Dallas, Texas. Frisco. That's cool. That's got to be the coolest
cool
one.
building.
Now, help me on this. Typically, it's been 8, right? You got a lunch and a dinner.
Yeah,
this one's still a dinner. This one just looks like they're dinners. Razorback clubs just aren't as strong as they used to be. It's partial because I don't think the athletics department's going in another direction. Tommy's talked about that. He can get into that more extensively. You want your head coach to be in front. You want him to be in the major population areas. And I would argue that there's more Arkansas fans in the Dallas metro area than you'd go rankings. You tell me if I'm wrong on this. Just on population size. Little Rock or Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, River Valley. And you might say, Dallas Metro might be the 4th on that list.
Yeah, it could.
I could be wrong on that.
It could be even higher just because of the fact that there's a huge population of people there, and a lot of them have sent their kids or have gone themselves to the University of Arkansas. Regardless of whether they're going to Texas or not, they're not going to nearly enough places in Arkansas. They've missed a handful of spots they could certainly hit. I mean, everything south of Little Rock is basically just doesn't exist, I guess, to the university.
Yeah, Delta
down there.
doesn't.
What about right here in Fort Smith?
Yeah, I had some friends texting
Razorback
I
fans.
had friends text me
I don't
yesterday.
want to complain because they're doing the right thing. They're getting out in front of the people, and when you don't have a coach that everybody knows about, that everybody's met, that everybody has something to look at and judge them based off of, you have to get them out there in front of the people. And by all accounts, Silverfield's been great in front of the people. Don't you remember the mystery of the 6-figure donation his first night in Bud Walton Arena?
Seven
figure. Excuse me. I forgot about the extra comma in there. So if he's that good at that, he should be out in front of everybody in every corner of every county in Arkansas. But obviously time and things like that and money, it takes a little bit. But hopefully this will turn out good for Razorback fans to get out there and go see Ryan Silverfield. But they missed a few key spots they could have hit.
All right, that's a football hog update. We still got other basketball and baseball news. Darius Akov is entering the draft. Said that yesterday. Some baseball thoughts as well. We're brought to you this morning by Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Maybe you want to bet on Arkansas and Missouri this weekend. NFL draft prop bets. You can do it all on the Bet Saracen app. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, favorites, underdogs, whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it on the Bet Saracen app. Go to BetSaracen.com. That's BetSaracen.com. All right, when we return, Morning Rush Daily Question. Mention the NFL draft. Is that appointment television for you? There's not going to be any Arkansas Razorback draft tonight. I know a lot of you are NFL fans. If you're a Cowboys fan, Chiefs fan, you have a favorite NFL team. Are you watching tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN, or is it ABC? One of the two. We'll get into that next on the Morning Rush.
This is the Morning Rush. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, appreciate you guys. Take my call. Listen to you guys all the time on my drive.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Hey, it's Phil Elson for Bath Makeover of Arkansas, now seeking skilled craftsmen. Bath Makeover is hiring the natural state's best plumbers, electricians, bathroom installers, and project managers to keep up with high demand. If you're ready for steady work and better pay, Bath Makeover of Arkansas wants to talk to you. Bath Makeover's commercial division is growing as well, installing over 100 bathrooms a month, knocking out multi-unit projects quickly, easily 10 bathrooms in a single week at hotels, apartments, and government housing all across Arkansas. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is looking for experienced, qualified, skilled craftsmen to join their talented team. To learn more about job opportunities, visit bathmakeoverar.com. That's bathmakeoverar.com. Plumbers, electricians, bathroom installers, and project managers. Visit bathmakeoverar.com. That's bathmakeoverar.com.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
You know, he's still a big back. And at one point, don't get too skinny.
This is the Morning Rush.
Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Brandon Zimmerman in Barling or call Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Dental emergencies do not wait, and neither should you. At Valley Urgent Dental, they're here for you on the weekends, whether it's a broken tooth, a painful infection, or a crown that's come loose. Dr. Kendall Rock and Dr. Doug Terry are ready to help. Why wait till Monday? Call 479-235-5655 now. Valley Urgent Dental is located at 5505 Uper Lane behind Golden Corral in Fort Smith. Valley Urgent Dental, emergency dental care when you need it most.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Founded in 1950, Crabtree RV Center has grown into one of the River Valley's largest RV dealerships, proudly serving Northwest Arkansas, specializing in sales, parts, and service. We're truly your one-stop shop for all your RV needs. Conveniently located with easy access to I-40 and I-49, we're 40 minutes from Northwest Arkansas and just as close to our friends in Oklahoma, carrying top brands like Grand Design, Coachman, East to West, and Forest River. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Spring is here, and it's the perfect time to upgrade your home. If your garage door needs repair or you're ready for a new look, call Precision Garage Door. From broken springs and openers to brand new doors, they provide expert service and professional installation. Fully licensed and insured, with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers, and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call 844-PDS-DOOR or visit PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Precision Garage Door, voted the best in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Ace has always been the helpful place, and now we're even more helpful by offering instant savings to Ace Rewards members. Just sign up at Metters Lumber Ace Hardware to start saving right at the register. Buy now, get $100 off an Ego 56 volt trimmer and blower combo, or buy an Ego 56V Select Cut Walk behind mower and get a free battery, a $329 value. After instant savings with your Ace Rewards card. Ace, the helpful place. Must be an Ace Rewards member to receive instant savings. Available through the end of the month. See participating stores for details.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Social Morning Rush Daily Question.
All right, you men. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer to the best of your ability.
It's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Check out Nate and Kristen's Place in Lowell online at carpatsocial.com.
I got to be honest, I got roped into watching the NFL draft tonight. I would watch a little bit of it, and I'll probably I want to know if I'll make it an hour before I get in bed and just try and fall asleep. Is the NFL draft appointment television for you? No Razorbacks for me. Take it off the board tonight. Maybe you've got an NFL team that you're really excited about. I don't know if Jerry Jones was getting advice from Bill Clinton on who they should draft. For anyone that saw that interaction,
I am. Look at this right here. Come in this house. Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'm negotiating a draft. There you go. Go ahead. I got it. I've always wanted to be.
And Mr. Jones almost fell. I hate it. You know what's great for me is I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I have nothing but love for Jerry Jones. But Cowboys fans, there's a lot of them that do not like him, and the Razorback fans, which cracks me up. I can kind of sit idly by watching the Dallas Cowboys do what they do each and every fall. I know Christian has to subject himself to their failures year in, year out, as most Cowboy fans do. But I love Jerry Jones, and I think he's entertaining off the wazoo. I've never seen someone put salt on McMuffin, but that's exactly what he did during HBO Hard Knocks. But back to the original question. Is the NFL draft for you appointment television tonight? And get us here at the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. We've got 4 giant pizzas, 2 breadsticks, 2 2-liters, wings, a gallon of ranch. We're ready to go. I'm just ready to eat.
Yeah.
I don't really have to watch this because I'm just a fantasy football guy. I don't even know if I can call myself a Packers fan anymore.
Well, if there was a Razorback that had the potential to be drafted tonight, I probably would tune in for a little while. There's also a baseball game going on, and that's what probably we're going to spend a lot of our time talking about tomorrow. So I'll probably keep a close eye on it just because you never know what happens in the draft. You'll get something crazy like, CeeDee Lamb with 2 phones and his girlfriend over there trying to look at his phone and him telling her to just get the hell out of the way. Kind of those juicy details.
Are they still dating?
I don't know.
They can't be.
Probably not. He made a lot of money now, so I'm sure she wishes they are if they are. But that kind of stuff is always entertaining as well. But I can see that on X in the morning or on my Instagram reels. I'm not too pressed about it, but I'll probably be tuned into the baseball game for the most part tonight. But as the draft does go on, I'll probably, get some updates to make sure that, to see where the Razorbacks that are actually in the draft that have the potential to make it to the league, where they fall and what their situation may look like. If anybody can squeak into the first round tonight, it may be Mike Washington, who tested really, really well tonight. But I expect him to go probably tomorrow sometime in the, second or third rounds.
Yeah, I think Mike Washington maybe boosted his stock.
Yeah.
I think we kind of knew Talon was just a specimen of an athlete, and you were talking about watching Gruden and in his conversation once again. But I think Mike, that's why he cried after his 40. That's why he's emotional, because he knew what he had accomplished.
He knew he made a lot of money.
Dan and Alma, I'm watching round 1 for sure.
Yep.
Don't know if he's going to watch tomorrow night, rounds 2 and 3, or that it's 4 through 7 the rest of the weekend, but he's at least watching round 1. I've got some friends. He married into a Pittsburgh family. He's a Fort Smith kid.
Pittsburgh.
and they are going. Is it a Cruiser? I gotta ask Phil. Acrisure, however you say that stadium
I think
name.
so.
But
Acrisure.
they're going, and I'm excited for them because that just seems like a cool experience. So you got the NFL draft. Excuse me. The Super Bowl's coming to Nashville in 2030. The draft was there. That is one bigger sporting event. Like, I think I'd be more inclined to go to the draft than the Super Bowl.
Oh, I'd definitely rather go to the Super Bowl. I mean, the draft is cool, but I mean, no one's catching a pass in the end zone with 1 second left on the clock at the draft. I mean, they'll show highlights of it, but to me, I've always wanted to go to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl history is one of my my trivia cornerstones, things I know a lot about. So I would love to go see that game in person. But I don't want to put the draft on just say it's bottom of the barrel sporting events to attend. It would be very fun if they were hosting it, say, in Miami, somewhere that I would like to go and hang out because I'm a Dolphins fan. That would be fun. But
there's too many landmines for you down there.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there as a married man.
Some of us have self-control.
There's certain cities you shouldn't go to.
Some of
as a
us
married
have
man.
self-control, and we know to look and not touch or talk to, or and just look sparingly, 10 seconds at a time, and then look to the left, look to the right. You know what to do. But it would be fun to go to the draft and see that. But after like the first or second round, it's barely even worth being on TV anyway, because they're always going back to the studio to get analysis on the pick, and they end up missing the next pick and something like that. So the draft is fun. It's not the most television-friendly, event to happen, but it is cool, and I'm sure I'll be tuned in to both things happening tonight, both the baseball game and the NFL draft for a little while, just to see kind of how things shake out and where some of these heavy-hitting prospects end up next year in the league.
All right, that is your Card Pass Social Morning Rush Daily Question. Great place you could watch the NFL draft tonight. It's my buddy Christian Olson, Nate's place at Cart Pass Social. New Spring League, it starts the 27th of this month. It's running through June the 5th. It's always BYOB, so you can bring your food, you can bring your drinks, you can play golf, you can watch the NFL draft on 10-plus TVs tonight. 479-487-3622. Maybe you forgot about that tonight. Maybe you don't know where to watch Arkansas baseball. Do so at Cart Pass Social, cartpasssocial.com. Host an event, team members, family, friends. You can do it all at Cart Pass Social.
Cliff texts in here on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, and you can too, 877-377-6963. Cliff said, I would rather be forced to watch Arkansas and Notre Dame again than to watch the draft.
That's funny as heck. Guess he is not an NFL fan.
They could be hosting the draft in my backyard, and I'm not sure if I'd be that tuned into it. Just to be fair. I mean, so I'm kind of with you right there, Cliff. I don't know if I'd want to subject myself to watching that 56-13 beatdown again. But,
to me, that is a wild. That's what the first Razorback game I went to with my father with in years.
He was dejected, Ty. I sat right next to him, and he had his head in his hands by the second quarter, and you left by midway through the second quarter. I had better things to do.
Well, yeah, we got. I have never seen Tommy as reactive as he was, and in an angry way. Like typically Monday mornings after we get blown out, I'm the one that's still ticked off. Tommy's got family. He's got other things going on. Yeah. He's measured, and I'm still ticked off. But that game, and I don't know if it was whiskey or what it was, but I have never seen him angrier after a game. Like, he kept talking to me at half about, I cannot believe this is the performance they gave.
You showed me some text, and they were expletive laden. They were
and that's usually what I
family
text.
Friendly, yeah.
That's usually me.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the one that doesn't necessarily use the best judgment post Razorback football losses, especially when we get clocked like we did earlier this year. But, sometimes you make mistakes, and I say mistake. It wasn't even a mistake. It was just funny to react to some of his. Hopefully we're in a good mood after this weekend when Arkansas travels to Columbia, Missouri. Here's DVH talking about what it's going to be like taking on the Tigers.
I mean, they're a lot better. I mean, their pitching staff's done a good job. The pitcher's going to pitch Friday is very good, and they're swinging the bat. The batting average is up there pretty good, and I just think that it's going to be another tough series. We're going to have to play good.
This team, though, is like Arkansas should win the series. I know people want to sweep them again. You have never lost to Missouri in baseball in Columbia. You won 3 series since you started playing there, 2014, 2017, 2022. Dietz, Gibbler, TBA is the pitching rotation you'll have ahead for this weekend. Listen, you don't have to sweep them, but you'd like to get a series win. There's still an outside chance you could host. You're not going to host if you lose this team on the road this weekend, the worst team statistically by record in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you stay kind of where you are right now in the RPI. You don't want to fall down any lower than you've already kind of, found yourself to this point in the season. But like you said, history's on the side of the Razorbacks to go up to Como and give them a run for their money and hopefully walk out of there with at minimum 2 wins to capture the series. But I think it would be a nice breath of fresh air, and it would make the Razorback faithful feel a lot better about their chances of potentially hosting or going on a run and getting really hot if they're able to, come back down south of the border there from Missouri back to Fayetteville with 3 wins in tow. That would be very exciting for the Razorbacks as well, because the schedule to this point to the season, the hardest part is behind you. So you have the ability to go out and win some of these next conference series, put yourself in a much better position to where, hey, if everybody else that's above you right now in the RPI and in the polls kind of falls by the wayside a little bit, which some teams will, you might find yourself as, the 16th national seed or the 15th national or the 14th national seed and still get a chance to play at home in front of 10, 11, 12,000 Razorback faithful fans to screaming their heads off. So that's, I think, the ultimate goal for this team. But DVH says that he likes them when they play away from home too, Ty.
Yeah, I like the way the team plays away from here. They played confident, loose, but focused. Sometimes there's a lot of distractions at home, and we've talked about that. You've got to learn how to manage that. And on the road, not so much. Get your pass list done, and let's go here, here, and here, and do it again. And but yeah, we've played well on the road, and so we hopefully we can keep it up. Yeah, I like the way the team plays away from here.
Interesting, very interesting.
You got Missouri left on the road, and then you've got Kentucky left to close out the season before you go to Hoover. And of course, you'll go to Hoover, road, neutral. It's more of a road than it is a neutral because while there are Razorback fans there will be other fans and more fans of the other teams you'll play, and then we'll see what happens after that. But just
toothless Rebel fans take over.
Just to point, LSU, man, that is got a chance to do that for the first time last year. That is a cool weekend. I never understood why they did it in Hoover, but now I kind of understand.
It's a nice ballpark over there too.
I thought it was fun. It helps that I got to see some friends that live over there that I hadn't seen in a while. But
I walked past a tent full of LSU fans the one time I got to go for my birthday a handful of years ago. I was down in Alabama during that time anyway. I walked past a tent full of LSU fans. I'd never seen such a large collection of liquor in such a small place.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, they offered it to me and everybody else that was passing. Didn't matter what their age was, but it was a fun time.
It didn't matter what their age was. That's a fair point when it comes to LSU fans. As long as you're not cursing back at them, they're pretty subdued.
They're hospitable.
Yeah, that's I would say that is a good way to look at them. Hey, we're brought to you by Pradco Fishing. I was actually texting someone yesterday, our buddy JT in Hot Springs. He was wondering, hey, what was the place Bruce and his wife went to in Key West? And I told him, and we were just talking. Bruce, love to have him on each and every week on Tuesdays. Pradco Pyramid of Power. Whether it's football rankings, basketball rankings, we're in the midst of baseball season. We also love talking about Pradco, and he loves sending us fish, me and Tommy, his catches each and every week. He was at Broken Bow earlier this week. Guy gets to travel a lot and go to some exotic, awesome places. And using Pradco lures made right here in Arkansas. I know that's something that a lot of people do. Again, you can check them out at lurenet.com. Tackle source throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma. That's Pradco, made right here in Arkansas. No better lure on the planet than Pradco. Hour number 2 coming up next. Tom Murphy is going to join us in just a bit. Yeah, who said that years ago?
Larry Word.
Yeah, Larry Word. Thank you.
Flip in our intro.
Larry was
so good.
Larry's good. Tom's just a likable guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that like him. Speaking of
he puts up with us. So
yeah.
We like him.
Well, speaking of putting up with, I know we put up with Cement Head. We like Jackie. We put up with Cement Head. Mock Legal Solutions. Think about it. They opened up 4 years ago offering real advice at a reasonable price, and they've expanded their practice to help you with custody, criminal, car wrecks. Jackie Mock can help navigate you through high-conflict divorce and custody cases. Don't walk alone. Walk with her. If you find yourself on the wrong side of the law, face it with her. Mock Legal Solutions, mocklegalsolutions.com.
When it comes to crappie fishing, there's only one baby shad. The original baby shad, crappie fishing's #1 selling bait. Featuring a sleek back, streamlined belly, and quivering tail, that bait just won't stop moving, no matter the temps, no matter the conditions. Built for dead sticking and action-based techniques also, the original baby shad gets right to the point, catching slabs and filling freezers. Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leader in crappie fishing innovation.
Hey, it's Phil Elson for Bath Makeover of Arkansas, now seeking skilled craftsmen. Bath Makeover is hiring the natural state's best plumbers, electricians, bathroom installers, and project managers to keep up with high demand. If you're ready for steady work and better pay, Bath Makeover of Arkansas wants to talk to you. Bath Makeover's commercial division is growing as well, installing over 100 bathrooms a month, knocking out multi-unit projects quickly, easily 10 bathrooms in a single week at hotels, apartments, and government housing all across Arkansas. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is looking for experienced, qualified, skilled craftsmen to join their talented team. To learn more about job opportunities, visit bathmakeoverar.com. That's bathmakeoverar.com. Plumbers, electricians, bathroom installers, and project managers. Visit bathmakeoverar.com. That's bathmakeoverar.com.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this million plus prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
This is the Morning Rush.
Save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground, priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Rath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to road-ready certified and save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. RathAutoFortSmith.com.
Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 lunchboxes are so luxurious, you might wonder if a chauffeur will pick you up from the restaurant. And how could you not? With selections like the signature $5 box, decadent $7 box, and abundant $9 box featuring the triple-double crunch wrap with layer upon layer of what you love. While a drink is included, a chauffeur isn't. So plan accordingly. Don't let the Lutz go to your head. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Lutz box at Taco Bell today. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezers and specialty beverages. That's extra.
Since 1974, the folks in the River Valley have trusted Westark Yamaha in Fort Smith for quality and service you just can't find at those big box stores. Now expanding into zero-turn mowers, Westark Yamaha carries Bobcat, a high-quality commercial mower built to perform, and World Lawn, the best value in zero-turn mowers. Plus, they stock Husqvarna chainsaws and Red Max blowers and trimmers. Westark Yamaha services what they sell. Right now, get 0% financing on all mowers. Westark Yamaha, serving Fort Smith since 1974.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
for today. Chance of a few scattered showers or thunderstorms today. Otherwise, we will see sunshine. A high will be into the upper 70s. Chance of showers and storms again tonight. An overnight low will drop down low to mid 60s. And then widespread showers and thunderstorms on Friday. A high in the 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Colorworks. Whether it's the weather or just life, call Andy at Colorworks Paint and Body for all your auto body repairs. Big or small, old or new, they are the choice for auto body repair. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, you're listening to ESPN 95.3, ERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. You could drink beer, the superior light beer for the social athlete.
First I want to just thank God. I want to thank my family, of course. Without them, I wouldn't be here. I want to thank all the coaches that I've dealt with in my life, all the teammates. And with that being said, I'm going to be declaring for the 2026 NBA draft.
Declaring for the draft. Congratulations. I know your friends, your family are here as well.
Philly ahead to Acom, layup good. Arkansas leads it by one and a foul. And a foul. Acom's going to the line with 7:42 to go. Acom, right wing, they set a screen and he drains a three. Acom, right side, nearly lost it, has to fire away from the sideline and it goes. He was about to lose the ball out of bounds. He saved it by firing it at the rim. It's a three-pointer. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Acom gonna go to work on Tanner. Three for the top of the key is good.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, produced by Colton Little with Ty Richardson. This is the Morning Rush.
What a year it was for Darius Acuff Jr. Led the SEC in scoring, assists, the player of the year, the freshman of the year, the SEC tournament MVP. The list just keeps going and going. And now, here in a few months, we'll find out what next basketball team. I was thinking about next year, him coming back. Just hope the All-Star break falls on a home Razorback game. Mm-hmm. They did that really cool thing years ago where you had several Razorbacks come back, Justin Smith, Moses Moody, and call out the starting lineups. I wish they would do something like that, and Darius would get a chance to come back. I don't know how many of his former teammates are going to be on his roster based on all the turnover and everything else, but just think that would be a cool thing to see him back in Fayetteville at some point in time this next season. All right, that's where we get going. Tom Murphy set to join us coming up here in just a bit. Here on a Thursday edition of the Morning Rush. We're brought to you this morning by our friends at Modular Orange. Are you tired of your old website? You're like, it's out of date. I got to get it fixed. Well, for just $95 a month, you can visit Modular Orange, 479-755-3043. That's 755-3043. They can help you with all different things. The cool thing is they host it, they maintain it, and they design it for just $95 a month. ModularOrange.com. That's ModularOrange.com, 479-755-3043. So the highlights are too many to count for Darius Acuff. And it's kind of again, you're trying to, we kick this conversation around during the season, at the end of the season. You're just like, well, where does he stack up against the likes of Sidney Moncrief, Corliss Williamson, and other great Razorbacks that were here 3 or 4 years? My whole thing was just appreciate him while he's still playing. And in the back of my head, every time he played, especially in postseason, it's like, this could be his last game. And during the Arizona game, I said all week, I was like, they're not going to win this game. It's like, well, I'm watching the last game that Darius Acuff will ever play in a Razorback uniform. But it was a blast. You got 4 roster spots open right now, Colton. You added 2 players. I actually had a Georgia buddy just text me about Jeremiah Wilkinson. You added Cooper Bowser. Now we're going to see with these other 4 spots where Cal goes.
Yeah, I heard Bruiser Flint talking this morning with Chuck and Bo, talking about how they're obviously targeting one more big, but also another guard as well. So I expect the Razorbacks to find a couple of more pieces to match the puzzle they're trying to put together up there in Bud Walton Arena for next season here pretty soon. The question is, are they going to get one of these guys that everybody wants to get? Is it going to be one of these blue chip guys, or is it more of a player that fits into a role that Coach Cal and Kenny Payne and Bruiser Flint and everybody up there has in mind for them. I'll be anxiously sort of awaiting to see how this roster shakes out. And also, one of the biggest pieces that we can't forget is, does Malik Thomas end up getting the news that he wants to hear from the NBA, from the NBA executives, and does he end up staying in that draft, or are we going to see him back in Fayetteville next season for what I imagine would be the potential for him to win the SEC Player of the Year as well? Because we have to remember that he was playing second fiddle to Darius Acuff, but if Acuff wasn't here and you just had Malik Thomas would have put up some numbers that are just as eye-popping and just as gaudy as some of the things that we saw from Darius Acuff. So that's one big piece I'll also have my eye on as well. But got to get that big man, Ty. Got to get that guy to get down there and bang down low and hopefully bring you all the way to the Final Four, because that's obviously the recipe we've seen the last several years.
We can chat with Tom about Darius and some of the other things you just mentioned in just a sec. I did see, I was scrolling through Facebook during the break. I did see a reel for Uncorked's new spring menu, and there is a lot going on there. Not just the live music. I took my parents there when they were in town last time, and they absolutely loved it. They have their wine and bourbon dinner menu that they just had recently, earlier this week. I know there always seems to be something going on at Uncorked. So if you haven't checked out their spring menu, which features, Tommy always talks about the deviled eggs. They've got a watermelon salad, seafood and grits, and more, the jerk lamb pasta. There's always something. It's like you're in a different type of restaurant when you walk into Uncorked. UncorkedTheFort.com. That's Uncorked off Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. All right, let's talk with Tom about this. Tom, Darius Acuff, when you think about him in 1 year as a Razorback, what is the moment, what is the highlight that stands out to you in what he was able to accomplish this year?
Oh, hey, guys. Wow, man, there were so many moments. I mean, maybe it came in a loss, but that Alabama game, because I think, wasn't his ankle still a little bit sore at that point? Mm-hmm. He still had that massive game. And the High Point game, that guard they had, that was like a one-on-one battle, and neither one of them was doing too well defensively, but they were scoring. So it's a bunch of different things. And the fact that from the very moment this season got started, you're like, whoa, this guy's got the package on offense. And just his demeanor. I'm going through a whole gamut of things, but the one moment I probably would be the Alabama game.
49 points, that duel with Rob Martin you talk about. Yeah, definitely too. But it's crazy. It's like you could point to another game. You could point to the SEC Tournament Championship. You could point to his I guess that would have been the quarterfinals game. I mean, there's so many moments that you can choose from in games that he succeeded this past season. Tom, now you got another roster spot open, and you're still tinkering a little bit. There's still a lot of guys that haven't found their destination yet. Just your thoughts on the transfer portal. They still, again, some frustrations with coaches having to deal with it during the midst of championship runs on whatnot. But 2,000 plus kids enter the portal, and we're going to see where they end up.
Yeah, a ton of people. Honestly, there's so many kids that go into it in all the sports that I don't spend a ton of time combing through and going who would fit them the best. I kind of wait and see what will happen. There are other guys who do that, and I get it. But I just look at it from the broad standpoint of they do have the money to spend. They've got to hold back to make sure, what happens with Malik, as you guys mentioned. And then they've got to get the other big. And I wasn't aware that Bruiser went on the radio this morning, or would have tried to listen. I did hear Silverfield on radio, but I would think that they would want a couple of more big guys too. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think if you're Malik Thomas and you're looking at it from the standpoint of, I go back to this game, that Missouri game, when they said, all right, we're going to rest Acuff. And that made sense because, he played well in the SEC tournament and they won it. But that Missouri game, you're thinking it's a road game. Missouri played them pretty tough here. Missouri's a quality team. That's going to be a hard one to win. But you could tell the guys are like, we're going to pick up the slack from Darius. And that was a really good performance, and Malik Thomas went off. And so that's a preview of, look, if I come back on this team, I have the chance to do that on a game-to-game basis more often, and earn those accolades and get talked about like that. And to me, it's a balance of what his earning potential is long term versus how next year fits into that, and where would he have the most fun and advancement next season? Is that on a high caliber SEC basketball roster, or is it going to be wherever that might be professionally, and what the earning potential is there?
Tom Murphy's with us, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Tom, one last basketball question before we move on to some football stuff. Todd Golden said he plans on being the head coach of the Gators. I know there's interest, at least reported interest from the Golden State side of things. If the Steve Kerr thing ends, your thoughts on his prospects of going out west to coach Steph Curry and the Warriors?
Well, you know what? Now he's got some intel on what that looks like, because, Billy Donovan did it, and he stayed in the NBA. And I think, isn't he strongly rumored, or was he strongly rumored to come back? Maybe the North Carolina job, which did peter out. But anyway, it all depends on what his personal motivations are, how happy he is in Gainesville and all that. He put together a romper stomper roster there the last couple of years, and it's a completely different mindset. And people like Nick Saban and other football coaches have learned that when you move to the professional ranks. I mean, Tony Vitello was learning that right now with the Giants. So he has a lot of data he could probably sift through, and the allure of whatever the salary might be and working on that level is big, I'm sure, but I can't go into the heart of Todd Golden and tell you what I think he's going to do.
Well, I for one think he would be an excellent candidate for the Golden State Warriors job, and hope he leaves the SEC, but that's just my vantage point. Tom, I know you were chatting with Tim Cramsey yesterday. Quarterbacks, I mean, I got to be honest, I listened to him for 30 minutes. The only thing I was interested in him talking about the QBs, it's just a wash, it sounds like. I guess, like, my thought process where I started this morning is, now that there's no spring portal, don't you want a solidified starting quarterback by the end of spring? Do you not want that thing dragging on a fall camp? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think the public and the media put a little bit too much pressure on what it means to name your starter or not name your starter. And the internal dynamics of how your locker room goes and all is something they're obviously weighing. And there's no spring portal, so it's not like, oh, we've named KJ. We're worried A.J. Hill might go in the portal. That's not a concern. So I get what you're saying. But honestly, I was a little bit surprised to learn he had the stats with him that he thinks, although he said, don't quote me on this, I mean, but you're saying it out loud, that A.J.'s completion percentage in all their 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 was around 73, and that K.J. Jackson was around 71.5. So that's a very narrow margin between those two. But also, in the team periods that we have seen, which I don't think includes any 7-on-7, just going off what we've seen, the 70% figure doesn't tally. So in other words, they're higher. They're pushing into the mid to high 70s in the 7-on-7, which is a little different. A lot different. So what we heard yesterday was that A.J. Hill might be doing better than what maybe we've seen in the team periods we've witnessed. So I do think it's maybe a closer battle than what I had in mind, say, a week or two ago, where I thought K.J. Jackson was maybe clearly in front, and their internal numbers show maybe something a little different. They're going to be very cloudy, very hazy about this, I would think, the entire summer, and make it, feel like a true battle right to the end. And so that's why he was probably a little bit nebulous on what he said.
All in a road show. You got 4 stops, 3 in Arkansas, 1 right outside Dallas and Frisco. I don't know if you've ever been to the Star. It's an insane facility. I've never been, but I have a few friends that have worked there. Your thoughts on just this upcoming road show here in May, Tom?
Yeah, it's a way to get the word out. I mean, I went to the one they had in Bentonville last year early with a Hunter Yurchek and got some pretty good intel out of that. And so I'll go to the first one I think they're having in Fayetteville. And I don't know, it's a way to connect with the fans better, interest, maybe try to get more donors and season ticket holders and stuff. So it makes sense to me that the coaches are doing that.
Who are the Falcons drafting tonight? Who are we watching? I know you got baseball you got to pay attention to, but we got two on the television. What are we doing tonight?
Well, I think we've traded away our first round pick. I have not really looked into it at all because the Falcons are going to have to resell me on being a fan with some of the moves they've made. I'm seriously, you give all that money to Kirk Cousins, and then 4 or 5 games into the season, or whatever it was, we're going to go with Penix. Well, no, they draft Penix, and then they make the move they did last year or the year before, keep him on as an expensive back. And then you know what? He had a pretty good return after Penix got hurt last year. But just some of the moves they've made are head scratchers to me, and so they're going to have to resell me. And I think we're down some draft picks on this particular draft, so I'll pay attention, but it's not like I'm going to be freaking plugged into my TV.
Okay. All right. Well, baseball-wise, I know you'll be locked in to see what this team does in Columbia in the next 3 days. 7 o'clock, you got Dietz on the mound tonight. It's by just record, the worst team in the SEC. I know Dave was giving him some credit on Tuesday night. I would think, you've never lost in Columbia. You play pretty good on the road. I would like Arkansas's chances these next 3 days. Wouldn't you, Tom?
I do like their chances, but I think Missouri is a little bit tougher this year than they were last. And also, I think Phil and Bubba were talking about this on one of the broadcasts over maybe the Tuesday game, that these are big RPI games. Missouri State had I think they were 16th in RPI, Matt Jones was telling me. And you don't want to lose these games to Missouri for your RPI. So there's a little bit of pressure to continue to win. They're break even in the SEC, which is not a bad place to be. But to get back on the fringes of hosting, you got to sweep this and keep pushing and finish with 2, 3, 4, 5 games above 500 in the league to have a shot to be in the hosting conversation, I would think. It's been a super strange season in baseball, and no result from this weekend would shock me other than probably them getting swept.
Tom, what did you think about last thing on with you this morning? Tom Murphy, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Your thoughts on Dave just kind of saying like us playing on the road?
Yeah, I like the way the team plays away from here.
And that was Tuesday night following the win. Are we reading too much into that, or do you think he kind of maybe wants them to play on the road in postseason?
That's a great question. They did it in 22. They went out and won in Chapel Hill and won the Oklahoma State Regional and then Chapel Hill Super.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it bothers him to be on the road. Obviously we've got a little bit of recency bias because the last time they did it, they swept Alabama. But I do think it's one of those where they're all in the hotel together, all their meals, they're all together, and there's that whole, let's go in and show these guys. And the Auburn series, they were competitive, but they lost 2 of 3, and then they swept Bama, and so they've got some momentum, so to speak, heading into the Missouri series, and it's a very important one.
All right, Tom, we'll leave it there, buddy. Always great to join us, and we'll chat about the spring game next Tuesday, okay?
Will do. Sounds good. See you.
We got a backup for you, Colton. If you don't bring it on Monday,
Thank goodness.
We got Tom. We got Tom if need be. Are you excited for the spring
more
game?
of a starter than I am, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you're on the 2 deep.
Nope, that's good.
You had
That's good.
Roberts talking about the 22. You're on the 22.
That's good. That's good.
Don't know if he had necessarily lists you as a starter or not. I did get a kick. Like we played some Cramsey clips a little bit earlier. There were some funny ones in there, like him talking about Braylon Russell.
Said he might not have been in the best shape he's ever been in last year to what he looks like right now. He's still a big back. And at one point, don't get too skinny.
I don't think Braylon Russell is in any danger, Coach, of him getting
too skinny.
Too skinny. I don't believe so. Let's see what else. The tool belt.
I purposely in the spring put them in bad situations to see if their tool belt that Coach Mitch and myself coach him up on can get him out of that.
Some would say Tommy put you in a terrible situation. having to do 2 weeks of radio with me.
Some would say the same about him putting you in this situation as well. But I think that the one thing we can glean from that is that he's gone. So
by the way, if
He'll be back.
if you're here Thursday, maybe this is the first time you've listened to us all week, or you just missed it. Tommy is in Scotland. I didn't put on the rundown a Facebook update. I forget where he played yesterday, but he
He didn't play yesterday. He just took a tour of a tour of one of the cities. Got to see a couple of castles. That's what I gleaned from his post, and playing one of the courses at St. Andrews today. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. I think I know he was at the old course.
He's made an Instagram. He made a Facebook update every single day around the same time. So when he gives you a bunch of crap for your social media habits, you need to stick it to him.
I'm going to eat him alive, because there's documented evidence of him doing everything. He rips me, which I don't do, by the way. I'm not the typical millennial. Like, you go to my Instagram, there's 7 posts. Go to my Facebook, it's like maybe once a month. Twitter's maybe every other day. I got so dogged for it here starting initially when I was posting a little more. I just kind of stopped. It subsided a lot, but I guess I should just stuck to my guns.
He's posting like a 40-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah.
you just need to make sure that he knows that.
Oh man. Well, hopefully he's having a good time.
I'm excited about the spring game, though, this Saturday. I wish that it could be on television for everybody to watch, but I will come back. I'm going to have every single play charted, every single gain, every single loss, who caught the ball, who tackled who. I'm going to have everything ready to go here on Monday morning, so I can basically relive the entirety of the spring game right here from 9 to 11.
Mike with a kind-hearted text this morning. This has been the best version of the show. I've really enjoyed it this week. I promise you this is not the best version of the show. Any time that I have hosted the Morning Rush has not been the best version of the show. You could argue I'm the 4th best lead host of this program. I just happen to do other things that make Tommy very happy.
We do have to fill this time
outside
slot.
of this show.
We do have to keep the transmitter going from 9 to 11. So
yes.
It falls to us.
Some would say Chuck and Bo did the entire state of service, moving from 6 to 9 and taking an hour away from the Morning Rush. All right, let's we got to hit it. SEC update coming up in just a bit. We'll react to more of this, what Todd Golden have to say. I'm not so sure he's not interested in that gig based on his response, but I read into everything. J. Pauley Toyota in Fort Smith, they're paying your state sales tax on all new Tacomas and Tundras. 0% financing for 72 months on those ones in stock. Plus, J. Pauley Toyota has rebates up to $7,000 and no payments until May with 0 down. With approved credit, certified Toyotas are backed with a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. J. Pauley Toyota, financing to fit your budget. 6000 South 36th Street in Fort Smith. Go to jpolytoyota.com. That's jpolytoyota.com. B says they need the football follies from the weekend.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get the music behind it, too. Yeah, we'll get everything going.
Monday's show might be our best ever.
Hey.
It could be.
Don't hang on to that.
Well, the pressure's on now. I said it. Now you got to deliver.
I'll do my best.
SEC updates next.
Don't leave the bench. Find our live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and Twitch.
You don't leave the bench.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Look at this right here. Come in this house. Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'm negotiating a draft.
This is The Morning Rush.
Save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground, priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Rath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to Road Ready Certified and save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. RathAutoFortSmith.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra. The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Rev up, riders, because the Suzuki demo truck is rolling into Wheeler Power Sports April 24th and 25th. Now is your chance to throw a leg over the latest Suzuki motorcycles and feel the power for yourself. Street bikes, sport bikes, and many more ready and waiting for you to test ride. Don't dream it, ride it. Join us at Wheeler Power Sports for this limited time event. Spots fill fast, so don't miss out. Check in, gear up, and hit the road with Suzuki. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
What's new at the Golf Nut in 2026? Plenty. Mizuno JPX One Woods and Hybrids are now in stock. So are Cobra Optim Adapt Woods, Hybrids and Irons, ready for every swing style. Starting in February, check out our brand new Titleist ball display featuring every number Titleist Pro V1 ball from 0 to 99. Step inside our newly remodeled retail space, explore the simulation bays, and experience our new fitting and lesson bay. Plus, new inventory arriving weekly. The Golf Nut, everything you need to play better.
Hi, everybody. This is Chris George from Joshua's Fine Jewelry in beautiful downtown Russellville. You need a jeweler you can trust to do all the things that you need, like repairs or custom work or one-of-a-kind treasures, spring gift occasions. We have affordable gifts for every need. Quality natural diamonds, beautiful lab-grown diamonds, silver and natural stones, chains, necklaces, rings, whatever you need. Come see us at Joshua's Fine Jewelry in beautiful downtown Russellville.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050, COP CDL Academy.
Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The SEC is the best conference in America.
The tough will survive in this game, and I feel like the SEC is the toughest.
Arkansas is the SEC champion. You know, every game is a dogfight.
We're about to be tough there, yes. Week in and week out, you're going to play some of the best, the biggest, the fastest.
But this afternoon is a day for the Razorbacks to celebrate. Arkansas wins the tournament.
Where opponents' dreams come to die.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
You know, this is an incredible foundation going into next year already.
And you're back for sure?
That's an interesting question, Mark. Definitely planning on coaching the Gators.
We talked about this when the report came out about Todd Colton not being interested. Let me rephrase. Golden State's potential interest in him, reportedly at least. I hope he takes that job if he's offered it. I do wonder, like Tom brought up a good question. You asked Billy Donovan, former Florida coach, who I would guess he's got his number, be like, all right, coach, what's the difference between coaching the Florida Gators and then Donovan coached the Thunder and the Bulls, and he would be coaching Golden State. I don't know if he's got Steve Kerr's number on speed dial. It's like, should I do this? Like, I've got a really good situation. My star player, Thomas Houck's coming back. Boogie Flan's back. Sheeny Lou might come back. Like, he's in a good spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what his mindset is. You mentioned the Cali aspect, but
yeah,
that's what he said yesterday.
Well, he's made it this far at being an extremely intelligent basketball coach and really being able to make the most out of everything he's been given, and really stalking down those great players in the portal to come play for Florida. You can Google Todd Golden stalking to learn more about that. But I do think that he's a great coach. And he's going to be very, 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 very sought after for as long as he's coaching in Florida to take bigger jobs at maybe more blue blood programs than we consider Florida to be, and also in the NBA as well. But I'm in your camp as well, Ty. I would love to see him go somewhere else, and Florida kind of be floundering a little bit to find somebody, because that would make you feel like as a Razorback fan that you've got a better shot at, capturing a regular season SEC title and maybe taking out one of those giants that usually kind of leads to your demise at some point in the SEC.
I'm going to say something, and it might tick some people off.
Okay.
So brace yourselves. If you're driving, 2 hands on the wheel.
Pull over maybe, yeah.
I don't know if Arkansas is the second best job in the SEC in basketball.
How dare you? How
Because
could you say that?
I know that we've got the national championship, the Final Fours, but Gators did it 06, 07, did it last year. I know season didn't go their way, but I'm just not sure that that's the case. Now, I don't know what the NIL situation is. We know who John Tyson and Warren Stevens are. I don't know who the big basketball boosters are for Florida. But as great as the talent is in Arkansas for basketball, it's still not Florida basketball. I mean, all those prep schools are in Florida. Darius Aika played at IMG Academy. Where's that? Florida. This kid, Adize, you know where he's at right now? Orlando Prep, Florida. I don't think you can say that Arkansas is the second best job in the SEC. Now, to some, that's not like a huge slide or anything. That's not a slap in the face to Cal or Coach Richardson or Coach Sutton. It's just where we're at now. And I'm really excited about the last 5 or so years. Elite Eight, Sweet 16, Sweet 16, Sweet 16. I know there's the blip where they didn't go at all to the tournament under Muss, but Florida's won a national championship. We still hadn't done that since 94.
Well,
and been one since 95. So I don't know. That's just kind of where my head's at.
If Florida's not, a top 10 team in almost every single sport, then they have the wrong coach. Because look at what, like you said, the recruits and the type of athletes that come out of Florida every single year, football, basketball, baseball, these guys are top notch. And so obviously you have a really good recruiting ground in Florida for basketball as well. But, and here in Arkansas per capita, we like to talk about that a lot. The number of basketball recruits that come from this state, it's pretty high given the smaller population that we have in terms of the surrounding states and other schools in the SEC. So I get where you're going with that. I think that there is, and to your point as well, I think there is something to be said about the fact that 2 different coaches have come to Florida and won national titles there, both Billy Donovan and Todd Golden. And here at Arkansas, until maybe Cal gets to the mountaintop, it's only been one coach here at Arkansas in terms of basketball that have made it to a Final Four, other than Sutton. I guess he made one in the 70s, but only been one that's gotten you to that mountaintop, not once but twice into the championship game. Unfortunately, you didn't get the best of UCLA in '95. But it's taken a generational coach like Nolan Richardson, a guy that's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, in order to get you one here at Arkansas. And, this young guy and Todd Golden was able to do it in, his 2nd or 3rd year there at Florida. And so I get where you're coming with that. If it's not number 2, it's easily number 3 because there's, the SEC still isn't the most, isn't the most high-powered basketball conference historically. Obviously, a couple of years ago, they had 15 or 14 teams make it into the tournament. But still, football is what SEC is known for. It's what those schools invest their money in. But here at Arkansas and places like Florida and Kentucky, they do put a pretty heavy impetus on the basketball program, and that's why you have donors here like John Tyson and, like you said, Warren Stevens and everybody that pours a lot of money into that basketball program too, because it's a winning program that people care a lot about. So if it's not 2, I get where you're coming from with that, but it's got to be number 3.
All right, other SEC storylines. Ty Simpson, I would guess, going to be the second quarterback to come off the board tonight. Any arguments with that?
I would say that he's likely to probably end up in the later first rounds. I know the Cardinals were really, really high on him and some of the workouts he did preseason, and they're in need of a quarterback at the moment.
A lot of SEC players going to be taken off the board tonight, several from Alabama here in the next few days. Did you see Kalen DeBoer got a contract extension?
Yeah, kind of
7-year, $87.5 million, and Alabama fans are mad. Here's my thing. So when you replace the greatest college football coach of all time, there's going to be a dip. He took a team to it was 9-4 in year 1 and the college football playoff in year 2. So they're trending up.
Yeah.
Right? There was going to be a dip. and they're trending up. So I know the expectation in Alabama is championships, not just to get there, but to win them. But for a guy that replaced the greatest coach of all time, he's got this thing headed in the right direction. That's my viewpoint on what's going on at Tuscaloosa.
Well, for me, it seems like that the Alabama administration has really just given DeBoer this extension as sort of a gesture of good faith, which maybe that means there's a huge dissonance between what Alabama fans of that football program are expecting and maybe what the administration is. But like you said, the point of him having to chase that ghost of Nick Saban is something that he's never going to be able to really, truly ever accomplish. I mean, he could go out there and win 2 or 3, 4 championships, but there's one thing about Nick Saban that people tend to forget, and it's the fact that he was a badass. I mean, he had that aura about him, and when you kind of look at him compared to Kalen DeBoer, just the way that they carry themselves, the way that they talk, it's a little bit different. DeBoer, I'm not saying that he's like some lump out there, but he's obviously a little bit more reserved and calculated and not quite as, maybe outgoing as maybe Nick Saban would be. And he's got to chase not only the ghost of all those championships that Saban put in the trophy case up there, but also a guy that everybody in football looked to as like the forefather of thought, the forefather of opinion for what was going on in college football. Whenever there was something crazy happening in college football, Alabama media would ask, Nick Saban his thoughts on it because his opinion was extremely valued by everybody in college football. I mean, when Nick Saban talks, even now on College Game Day, I mean, the whole set goes quiet. They're not interrupting him. Everybody is listening because his opinion is so valuable. So DeBoer not only have to chase those wins, those championships, he have to chase that level of respect and that level of honor that's been given to Nick Saban as well. And that comes with a lot of championships. It comes with a lot of wins. And when you're Nick Saban and you won a lot of championships, it's pretty easy to have a cavalier attitude and, go out there and, make the FCC censors watching College Game Day have their hand over the dump button all the time because he's just, saying whatever he wants now. But I think that as a whole, Alabama administration, they've given this to Kalen DeBoer as a gesture of good faith. As I said, hey, we believe in you. We think you can do this. Here's all the money you need. Go out there and, win us another natty. But there's a lot of roadblocks in his way. LSU, Texas, Georgia, those are good schools as well. And they've sort of caught up to Alabama for all the things that we thought Alabama was better than them at, which was obviously recruiting and, maybe some under-the-table stuff that Nick Saban would never admit. But now that's, very even. It's all even playing field now with the amount of money that those schools are getting. So I think that DeBoer's a good coach. He's going to have a lot of success at Alabama as long as he's there. But they got to pay him 90% of that contract or whatever's left on his contract if they fire him without cause. If they fire him, and that's close to $90 million contract right now. So someone over there in Alabama is going to be writing a big check if he goes 8-4 or 8-4 again. That's not the standard that the Crimson Tide have.
All right, that is your SEC updates brought to you by the Mercy Golf Classic, which is coming up May 11th at Hardscrabble Country Club. They're expanding the Mercy Cancer Center. They still got morning and teen times available. Register your team or become a sponsor by calling 479-314-1133. That's 314-1133, or visit mercyhealthfoundation.net/FTSM Golf. That's mercyhealthfoundation.net/FTSM Golf. Mercy, again, their golf classic coming up Monday, May 11th at Hardscrabble Country Club. It is movie theater day. Ooh. What is the last movie you've seen in theaters? Mine was Avengers Endgame, which was a while ago.
That was a long time ago. You haven't been to a movie theater since then? And rosters run dry, huh? Nobody wants to go on a date with you to the theater? Oh,
that used to be a thing. It was dark.
Yeah. Okay. You want to continue, expand on that a
little
bit?
Okay. Well, realized I said that. I probably shouldn't have.
The last movie I saw in theaters, I went with my wife during New Year's Eve, actually. We watched...
nice.
Yeah, it was really great. I love going to the movie theater. It's always really fun. We saw the movie with Sydney Sweeney because she's a big fan of the book that this was based off of. It's like it was called The Housemaid or something like that. It's not Oscar worthy, but you did get to see Sydney Sweeney's 2 Golden Globes. So
that's the last movie you saw.
It was a twisted mystery movie. It had Amanda Seyfried in there. I think it's how you say her name. It was really good, and it was based off a book that Gabby watched, and she had been begging me to take her to a movie for a long time, and that was one that we got to see, and it was entertaining at certain points, to say the least.
I'm just of the belief if you want
No, you don't want to.
No, I'm just if you're gonna hire an au pair or a or a
au pair?
maid or something.
How
Just
much
make
money you
sure
think
she's
I
like
make?
70 something. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about general.
Oh yeah, well that's exactly
For the rich folk
basically
in
the
Northwest
plot.
Arkansas.
That's basically the
Yeah.
plot. Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Okay. Well,
Avengers Endgame. You haven't been to a movie theater in like 6 years.
It's been a
dude.
while. It's been a while.
Why don't you go?
Skip
Skip the draft. Skip the baseball game tonight.
Draft tonight. We got 4
Talk
pizzas,
to that lady
2
you've been talking
breadsticks.
to. Ask her to come over. See
No,
you wanna
no,
go to
no,
a
no.
movie.
Tonight's a guys'
Hey.
night. Tonight's an NFL pizza night.
Does the pirate wear his parrot on this shoulder or this shoulder? Come on, man. You got...
Oh yeah, we should do. We did maybe the best feedback we've ever gotten on a show here on the Loose Automotive Group hotline was pickup lines, and it was so funny how diverse you all were sending them in. We got them from females and males. We got them from 20-somethings to 80-somethings, and just the variety that you gave us as hosts that are now in the bank up here. Still haven't used many of them, but they're at least
how do they work out
they're
in the
there.
field? Yeah.
They're there.
You didn't use any of them in the field for any research at all?
Nope.
I don't believe that for
Nope.
a second. I don't believe that for a second that you never tried a
I don't
single
have.
one of those.
Listen.
What's your pickup line? Hey, I'm Ty Richardson.
I
work
usually
for
here.
ESPN
No,
Arkansas.
here's my honest to goodness truth pickup line. I'm lucky, or I have a lot of my friends' wives and girlfriends and fiancés and whatever that are. Well, they're just like that. I'm friends with them. I'm close with them.
Dry
Like,
run.
and
Give it
it's
a
just
dry
like
run, yeah.
it's okay. Here's the perspective I have. So in a situation where kids enter in the transfer portal, while the coach can say all this and that, I can say all this and that to a girl. It actually means more coming from a player, aka one of my girlfriends, to say that about me. So or hey, introduce me to so and so. That's the connection. That's the symmetry.
You use the female wingman.
Yes,
to someone to come in
exactly.
there and butter you up a little bit for the
Exactly.
lady you're trying to impress. Yeah, that
Exactly.
never works, does it?
No, it has actually. That's the point.
Well, not.
It's not currently like it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it has in the past. We're getting off on a tangent that no
we're
one gives
not.
a rip
Yes,
about.
we do. We all
That's my
care.
fault.
We are all
my
invested
fault. By the way,
in your romantic relationship.
shameless plug here for Colton. He's looking for a house. So if you have a house for rent in Northwest Arkansas, 877-377-6963. We're not trying to
Indoor plumbing wanted. For sure.
Indoor
That's
plumbing.
kind of
Think about it. He's got a young wife. He's got a young kid. Not trying to break his back over rental. If you got a place in NWA for cheap, or you just want to take pity on him, do so at a cheaper rate. 877-377-6963. That was the.
Thank you.
That was the. If you noticed, I had shameless house plug.
I didn't know what that
on
was
the
about.
rundown.
Reading this.
Well, now
this
you know.
morning. Well, thank you. I
Now you
appreciate
know.
that.
Well, I'm not going to give a shameless plug to our following partner, but I'm just going to give a plug. That's
Okay.
Gaston's White River
That's right,
Resort.
not shameless.
870-431-5202. Love to plug these guys because not only is it a great experience, they've got a great staff, and it's an awesome time. Gastons.com. Go to their Facebook page. Check out the Instagram. Check out the Facebook. Check out the videos. Check out the different photos that they post. The food's awesome. The John Boat Salad Bar. They always have a bunch of different stuff that you do. I still remember the blackened chicken pasta I had. Also, we were talking about hollandaise a couple days ago with Tommy. I got some country bumpkin dish that was covered in hollandaise and gravy, and it was phenomenal. Listen, they're going to feed you right, and they're going to treat you right at Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive.
See where that neck roll, the kicker? Bobby Boucher back there? You're the first kicker I've ever seen with a neck roll.
This is the
Tommy
Morning
Kraft
Rush.
here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice spec.
We got coffee.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Taco Bell's lunchboxes are going to people's heads. Because once they've indulged in the mainstays of the $5 box, the decadence of the $7 box, and the abundance of the $9 box with its monumental triple-double crunch wrap, they start expecting everything to be as Lutz. Don't let the Lutz go to your head.
Where's the doorman?
There is no doorman.
That's why we're waiting.
Let's go. Try Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lutz boxes.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you events only at Lewis Automotive.
All right, final segment here on the Morning Rush. We're going to talk about the All In Road Show coming up in just a bit. If you got some thoughts on that, you can jump on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline at 877-377-6963.
We'll answer.
We will answer. We'll do our best to answer, even if Big C's a team player. He had to come in here yesterday and answer.
I know. I was just rambling.
No, that's good. I didn't want you. I didn't want you to stop. Hey, Joe's Grill and Cantina, Wade Morgan. You can stop by and see him, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps. They're made from scratch. Salsa, queso, guacamole, and more. To start off the meal is always great. They've got the daily specials. Check out the fajitas, enchiladas, and tacos and burritos that make it an experience you're never going to forget. I always get the fajita burrito. That's my go-to. Oh, I still haven't tried the hot salsa yet. I've been meaning to do so. Hopefully this weekend, finally back in town, I'll get a chance to get over to Joe's Grilling Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps. That's Joe's Grill and Cantina. So, football talk. Coach Cramsey speaking yesterday. Spring game on Saturday. But you also have this All-In Road Show that's starting May the 12th in Fayetteville, the 13th in Little Rock, the 14th in Jonesboro, and the 18th in Frisco, Texas. Now, it seems like last couple years, Pittman's been going to a lunch place and then a dinner place. Mm-hmm. These are just dinner spots. I don't know. Like, to me, this is what my just initial read is like, do you not want to try and do a lunch spot and a dinner spot based on what you've been doing, based on the shrinking of Razorback clubs and stuff like that? That was just my initial thought when I saw this.
Well, they could certainly be doing more, and I think to everybody, obviously, they would love for the head coach to come to your town and sit in your dining room table at your house and talk to you about the plan for the football program. But obviously, there's only so much time in a day and only so many more days left until the season starts that it's almost an impossible task. And here, as battered Razorback fans that have had to watch some really bad football more than a handful of times over the last decade or so, we're just not expecting a whole lot. And the only thing that this football program has to sell right now is hope. And sometimes hope needs to be put out as often as possible. So I'd like for them to go and try and do as many of these as they can when they do this in the future. But I'm excited to hear what he has to say when he goes to Fayetteville and Jonesboro. And I'd imagine he'd be, greasing the hands of some very, very big donors down there in Frisco, Texas as well. So hopefully this only spells good things for the Razorbacks. That's right. Give me some money, Jerry. He's a little bit busy down there with Bill, though, trying to show Bill to the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders locker room.
Draft selection this week, man, starts tonight. I know that's I love watching when they zoom in on the owners and the players and the GMs, just the reactions and the excitement that they have. Mm-hmm. And then years down the road, the kid's not even on the team; he's somewhere else.
Was it last year that somebody like that one of the coaches' sons called somebody and said they were going to? It was Shedeur Sanders, right? Said that he was going to be drafted at this point, and then he never got drafted. I think that was the Falcons
it was a prank
coach.
call.
Oh,
Cooper
man.
DeJean got prank
called.
called.
Those are so
they
funny.
have a couple of those that happen, and it's just like, geez Louise. Oh, man.
That's the best part of the draft, all the goofy storylines that come out of it. Laramie Tunsil, stuff like that. Those are so funny.
By the way, Jason Marshall is willing to sell you a 5-bedroom, 2-bath home, 2,100 square feet for $240,000.
That's a deal. Where's it at, Jason?
5-bedroom is nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in Marshall, but Jason, that is a good deal.
Would,
he's got to drive.
Every day.
I was going to say, he's got to drive. Listen, I'll come in. You do it every morning.
Because I love this job.
Well, I'm initially Tommy. This is why he likes you better than me. Initially, Tommy would not let me live in Northwest Arkansas and make that commute. I'm so glad I did.
He trusted you.
He probably didn't. And it was probably right to do so. Just to be perfectly honest about that. All right, let's see. What can I talk about in the next 3 minutes before the show ends? Oh, the Vrabel stuff.
I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive.
So which was it? Was it an innocent interaction, or did you cheat on your wife? They can't keep their story straight.
You don't go to a place like that and have any innocent interactions, Ty. They're out there feeding each other fruit. They're out there holding hands and staring longingly into each other's eyes.
Did you see the breakfast pics too?
I did. And look, whoever they hired as a private investigator, that guy, I mean, he's top notch. We ought to put him up there somewhere in the government to try and uncover some of these secrets over there in Washington. I mean, this guy, he found it all. He was like a complete total sleuth. Good for him. But
who was it? Was it Vrabel's
I'd imagine
wife? Was it Diana's husband?
Diana's husband. One of those.
So both of them tag team.
One of those two jilted lovers. I'm sure they had something to say to, hey, I need this evidence of this.
My friends tell me I'm scumbags for listening to them, but I love listening to the divorce lawyers that are there's one in Houston and the other one's in New York. And what they always talk about is most of the cheating is found because of synced iPhones to other devices within the house. That's what
can't
they
do
say.
that. You can't let technology beat you. You can't do that. You got to be if you're gonna do that. If you're gonna step out on your family, at least have the common decency to get a second phone. I mean, come on.
Burner phone.
Yeah,
we always talk about burner phone with coaches.
You're gonna have a second phone, second family. They can't be in the same state.
Man.
Come on.
Or
These
just
are rules.
Don't cheat on your wife or husband.
That's also
that would be the one. That would be the one to do.
Yeah,
hey, as we close out the show, the 48th anniversary of Burn Pools and Spas is happening now. Save on Doughboy pools up to $1,250 off, above ground pools and in-ground pools, starting at just $17,999. Doughboy are the most durable, and they have the best warranty. They're made right here in Arkansas. Get $13,000 off the Bermuda 14 by 30 fiberglass pool with premium crystal finish. Limited spots are available if you're thinking about this. Burn Pools and Spas. They've got 4 locations now. Fort Smith, Greenland, Springdale, and Hot Springs. Burn Pools and Spas. Water for a better life. Burnpools.com. All right, that's going to do it for Thursday edition of the Morning Rush. We had Marty Burlesworth and Tom Murphy on. You can listen to it in our Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. For Colton Little, I'm Ty Richardson. Coming up, Phil Elson, Christian Johnson. He's live in Como, right? Mm-hmm. Let's go.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do